As the race for the White House heats up, a new book is giving deeper insight into the Trump family, and it's written by Fred C. Trump III, who is Donald Trump's nephew. It is called All in the Family, and it's been making headlines since it hit shelves. And Fred C. Trump III is joining us now to share more about his book. Welcome to Your Morning.
Well, thank you very much, Anne-Marie. Great to be here.
So the book is called All in the Family, and I want to start with a member of your family. I think one of the most shocking allegations you make involves your son, your beautiful son, William, who is living with a disability. You have done a lot of advocacy work on his behalf, including after your uncle became president. When you reached out to Donald Trump, you write about his response, which was, quote, him saying to you, William doesn't recognize you. Maybe you should just let him die and move down to Florida. How do you respond to a family member saying something like that about your own child? And what does it reveal about President Trump's...
It's hard to wrap my head around that comment. And just to put it in context, Donald had never met William. And William is 25 years old. He never asked to meet William and never did. So for him to say William didn't recognize me was shocking enough. But then to say let him die... it's hard to explain how any human being could say that about another human being, but to say it about his grandnephew was just too much. And my only response was, no, Donald, he does recognize me.
What does that reveal about President Trump's thoughts and attitudes towards those who live with disabilities?
Well, he has no empathy. He really has no empathy for anyone he deems lesser than him. And we've seen example after example with John McCain and with the New York Times reporter in 2015, who he mocked, physically mocked. And the other disturbing part of that story is how the crowd that was there was just in laughter regarding that. I just don't understand how people could be so cruel.
You have another chapter in here called Race Card, and in it you allege that you heard Donald Trump use the N-word twice. He recently ended up in headlines after his comments at the National Association of Black Journalists. You know him in the way that the press and others do not. In your opinion, is Donald Trump racist?
I think he espouses people who have racist tendencies. He surrounds himself with them. He invites them down to his home in Florida. Yes, the story that you mentioned, and I was the only one there. I was 10 years old, and someone had slashed the roof of his Eldorado, and he came out with a roll of electrical tape to fix the slash marks, and he used the N-word twice. And as if that weren't bad enough for a 10-year-old kid, he didn't see who actually did it. So he's just assuming, or he had assumed, that it was black people who did it.
You acknowledge, and I'm quoting here, things could be tense on the golf course the next time Uncle Donald rolls up in his cart. There are photos of the two of you in the Oval Office. Clearly you have had a relationship. Have you heard directly from him since your book has been published?
Not directly, only through statements.
And what about the statements from the sons? Both of them have responded, some of them saying that they think the stories in your book are either made up or false.
Well, they weren't there, so I don't know how they would know that. I just encourage your viewers to, if they want to know the truth, read the book. Maybe Donnie and Eric should read the book and understand it. What's interesting, Anne-Marie, and if you don't mind me saying this, is in Eric's statement, he never mentions the comment that Donald said to me regarding William. Just didn't mention it at all. I wish he had the courage to say something about that.
You talk a lot about family and the importance of family, how it was painful for you when you were on outs with members of the family and your work to have relationship. What was your reaction to the assassination attempt on your uncle?
You know, I was horrified. I didn't see it, but I received a call from my older son, Christopher. And it, of course, was shocking. And there's no place for violence in politics, not just in the U.S., but anywhere. So I did reach out to him. I let things, if you will, calm down a number of hours. And I reached out to his assistant and said, Lisa, my wife and I and the kids just wish him the best, and please pass along that thought. And she responded pretty soon after saying, will do.
You write in the book how you didn't vote for Donald Trump in either election. You voted for Joe Biden, you voted for Hillary Clinton. Do you think your uncle is the right person to be the next president of the United States?
No, he's not. And the reason for me is obviously nothing personal. It's I believe in policy over politics. And I will be voting for Kamala Harris. I will be campaigning on her behalf because she has the policies that I believe in that are not only important to me, but to my children, and I believe for the future of this country. We are in a very tenuous place right now. The freedoms, and I know it sounds hyperbolic and you hear it all the time, but I truly believe that the freedoms that this country has cherished for centuries are in danger.
He's been accused of being dangerous. Do you think he's dangerous?
I don't think he's physically dangerous. I don't think he's been in a fight his entire life. Interesting, considering that he and I both grew up in Queens, New York, which is a rough and tumble area. His thoughts are dangerous, and the folks that follow him are dangerous. He has the great ability to amp up the rhetoric, and as we have seen time and time again, that could lead to physicality, which is very disturbing and, again, has no place in our politics in America or anywhere.
Fred Trump III, thank you for joining us this morning. His book is called All in the Family. We'll be right back.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.